Okay, so in the first part of this video, we went extensively into the history of the Jews after they crucified Yeshua and Jerusalem was destroyed. We saw that they had great influence still in the Middle East and Africa, particularly in Arabia. Where we left off was tying this all into modern day events and the conflict brewing in the Middle East. So now, let's continue and tie this all into modern day Palestine and Israel. Let's begin. Okay, so first, it's called Palestine from the Latin Palestina, which was coined by the ancient Greeks for the area of land occupied by the Philistines. Yes, the original inhabitants of the land were the Philistines. They were in control of this land before the Hebrews conquered the land. Now earlier, I explained that after the Second Jewish Revolt, the Hebrews were crushed by the Romans, and Emperor Hadrian wiped the province of Judea off the Roman map and renamed it Syria Palestina, which was then broken up into three-part units: Palestina Prima, Palestina Secunda, second, and Palestina Tertia, third. This all existed until the Muslims began their conquest of the Middle East region. In the early to mid-7th century, around 634 AD, Arab Muslim forces appeared in the area we call Palestine, and they conquered the land in what was called the Levant. It's referred to as the Muslim conquest of the Levant. You should know of this area of the Levant, which contains the areas of Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, and Syria, and the modern state of Israel. That's why Obama used to call the group ISIL instead of ISIS.
And one of those groups is ISIL.
It was about the Levant. ISIS stands for Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and ISIL is the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, which is more defined and much more than just Iraq and Syria. Anyways, after the Muslim conquest of the Levant, by the year 635, Palestine, Jordan, and southern Syria, with the exception of Jerusalem and Caesarea, were in Muslim control. From this point, there were holy wars with the Crusades and the Knights Templar, which was covered in part 66 of the History of Religion series. But the area of Palestine, which included the land of Israel before it was given to its current inhabitants, was occupied territory of Muslims. The land of Israel, specifically the city of Jerusalem, has been highly contested for millennia, but not for the reasons that we are seeing today. The conflict that we are seeing today is not a long-held conflict. It was created after World War II. It is highly important to understand what we are seeing in Israel today is a modern conflict made after a redistribution of land. Now, a lot of that land of Palestine that we just went over, though it was occupied predominantly by Muslims, it was at some point owned by the Rothschilds family. The Rothschilds brought much of the land in Palestine, now called Israel, from the Arabs and Turks. The family was and are huge supporters of the Zionist movement.
It's 67 words long, it's 100 years old, and it changed the course of history for the Middle East and the Jewish people. The Balfour Declaration, the expression of the British government's support for a Jewish home in Palestine, was sent by British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to the second Lord Rothschild. I'm here in Buckinghamshire at Waddesdon Manor to speak with the fourth Lord Rothschild about the Balfour Declaration, what it means for Britain, for the Jewish people, and the Rothschild family.
The Foreign Office, November the 2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
So Walter received the Balfour Declaration, and I have a copy here, and I wonder if I could possibly ask you to read it for us.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I'm going to put on my spectacles to make sure I read it accurately. His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object It being clearly understood that nothing should be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Yours, Arthur Balfour.
These are terms that you should research on your own. Zionism, Khazars, Ashkenazi. This will help you understand who Yeshua is speaking about in Revelation chapter 2 verse 9 and 3 verse 9. After Hitler and the Holocaust, it was decided that the Ashkenazi Jews that were persecuted in Eastern Europe needed their own homeland. Please note that the slaves that were sent to a foreign land to do forced labor for 400 years that were still being oppressed never received that consideration. Just to add some more thought to your thinking. Think about that though. But after World War II, using their known strategy of order out of chaos, there was not many that could deny those who were now believed to be true Jews the right to their homeland. So what the Rothschild family did was, they donated the land they owned of what was known as Palestine at the time, and they gave it to the United Nations. Then the United Nations then gave this land to the converted Jews so that they would have a homeland and never would have to face the kind of oppression and slaughter they were submitted to during the Holocaust. Thus, the State of Israel was created. During that time, there was many protests against this, and people said that this was not the true Israel of the Bible. Now, what of these Jews that now possess the land? Just a small amount of digging and research tells us that these Jews were not Jews by bloodline, therefore not true inheritance of the promises of Israel, but they were Jews by conversion. They are not held under the covenant that Father placed on the true Hebrews, and that's why they do not share in the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. They were placed in this land for a very specific purpose that we are now coming to the fulfillment of. Now, in reference to Palestine, just like they did with Israel after World War II, the United Nations officially recognized the state of Palestine in Western Asia, claiming the West Bank and Gaza Strip, this small piece of land. The UN adopted a partition plan for mandatory Palestine, recommending the creation of an independent Arab and Jewish states and an internationalized Jerusalem. So the Arab nation is Palestine and the Jewish nation is Israel, and they both would share Jerusalem as their capital. This plan was of course accepted by the Jews, but rejected by the Arabs. And over the past 7 decades, there has been consistent war and conflict over this land, the territories, and especially Jerusalem. When we keep hearing about the two-state solution in Israel, it's again about both nations accepting this arrangement. But in the end, this conflict is not really about that. That is just for the history books. This is all about the merging of all religions, what they call the 3 great faiths. And with the Jews now represented by a different group than they originally were, and with Islam already with so many copied ideals that are in line with Judaism, and then Christianity not sure of what they believe and who they follow, we are now at a point where the 3 major faiths can be merged and claim belief in the same God, lower G. Jerusalem, which is said to be a home to all these faiths, major institutions, and holy sites, in there we are seeing more of a power struggle for all the faiths to coexist.
Welcome back. The Temple Mount is the site of the first and second Jewish temples, but for hundreds of years it's been occupied by Muslim shrines. The Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Golden Dome of the Rock now sit on the site. But some Jewish people want to build a third Jewish temple. CBN correspondent Julie Stahl spoke with expert Liz Healy about that vision and its challenges.
And all the monotheistic religions, Christian, Jews, and Muslims, all feel like this is their place of worship. And so it's very controversial of who's going to actually end up on this mount.
Do you think the 3 religions could share the Temple Mount?
Personally, I don't, but there is a huge movement about coexisting on the Temple Mount. And even recently, within the last 2 weeks, I know of a meeting between Christians and Muslims and Jews who all are talking about what are the possibilities and how could they establish both a temple and a mosque on the Temple Mount.
What kind of plans are being made to build a third temple?
There are actually quite a few, and depending on the group that you talk to, different architectural designs have been made.
So what preparations are actually being made right now to build the third temple?
There are actually quite a few, and it just shows that God is giving the Jewish people kind of signs or an expectation that it's time for the soon coming Messiah. But there is a group specifically that has reestablished the Levitical priesthood. They just started a school a few months ago, and they have a registry for those who are from the Levitical line that they could come and be trained and be ready to do the service in the temple. They've also started a red heifer farm. The Temple Institute did with an Israeli farmer, and that was again with ritual purity, that they need to have a red heifer that meets Jewish law and has been supervised and doesn't have any white hairs. It's completely red heifer to be able to be burned, mixed with running water, and then used to make everybody ritually pure to be able to go into the temple.
I mean, right now, Jewish people just going on the Temple Mount can create a riot sometimes. So can you envision a scenario where they would allow the temple to be built?
No. A lot of the scholars that I've spoken to talk about how the building of this next temple is really going to bring peace to Israel and to bring safety from all her enemies. And so in that way, I can see that any maybe leader that would be raised up or somebody that would be able to bring the nations together, especially those who might align with Israel, that there might be some agreement that the temple could exist there and this person could be set up in the temple. So one group is doing a design more like Herod's temple, and it would be on the Temple Mount, and I don't believe that they would have a mosque that would be there.
I may have to explain this deeper in a separate video because of the time constraints in this video, because we covered so much to get here. The main question people want to know is how they should feel about the conflict in Israel and Palestine right now, particularly for those who call themselves Christians, those who do not have a strong understanding of all this information. They know of Israel and they feel compelled to stand with them, just like we see all those signs say, "I stand with Israel." But if you do truly stand with Israel because of your faith, that's a great thing. But stand with true Israel. This distinction is important, especially when you place in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Stand with true Israel, those who are being oppressed around the world for what they tell us is really about skin color, but more actually about our blood. The conflict in Israel is about the goals of Freemasonry and Luciferian worship. They want to build a third temple that all the faiths of the world can worship collectively together, saying that they all worship the same God. Again, little g. But in order to do this, they must create enough havoc and chaos that the world is all collectively willing to accept their solution. So there will be war and death in that region. I expect more Muslim nations to side with Palestine more vocally, and this war becomes much more religious than it is right now. I expect chaos so that they can bring in their order. The situation will get tremendously worse so that they can find agreement to complete multiple agendas. They will bring in peace, and this will come by a figure that will seem to have all the right answers, that was able to accomplish something no one else was able to do. They will find universal commonality in the building of a third temple, and we will see a declaration by the world that we all worship the same God. And we will see from that anyone who does not agree with that will be labeled an enemy of peace, which will make believers of the Bible, us who stand firm on the scriptures, actually enemies of the world and will be persecuted. We see the 7-year tribulation period confirmed in Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, but in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation, which is determined, is poured out on the desolate. This 1 week is referring to a period of 7 years, with the middle of the week being obviously 3.5 years, or 42 months, or 1,260 days. And this concurs with the prophecy in Revelation chapter 11 and 13. But leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles. And they will tread the holy city underfoot for 42 months. And I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. That's Revelation chapter 11, verses 2 and 3. And then Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. And he was given a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. So, how should we feel about what is going on with Israel and Palestine? Simple, that it has nothing to do with us. And the further they go into this war, the closer we are to the Great Tribulation and the return of our true Messiah, which also means that we are closer to more and more deception. Because while we are preparing for the marriage supper of the Lamb and the New Jerusalem, the world is preparing those who follow the God of this world to accept the false Messiah and his false system of deceptions, confusion, and blasphemies, worse than anything we have seen thus far. And that says a lot. There is a lot that goes into this overall deception, but I went a great deal into the past so that you can clearly see that you do not have a dog in this fight, and all you must do is stay focused on the word and our Father's promises. Remember that Yahuwah is not slack concerning his promise, as some count slackness, but is long-suffering toward us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. And we have not reached the climax of all this, because he is giving us all time to get ourselves right with him. Make sure you are using this time wisely and not wasting it on false promises that the world has you believing in. Therefore, having these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of Elohim. 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. We are not in this fight between Israel and Palestine. We also do not need to walk in hate or animosity towards those that are attached to this conflict. Pray for them. Feel for them. Because if they do not repent and turn away, they are headed towards something much worse. They should hold on to these words just as we do. And do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. I've explained this in depth to cover some vital information Father has guided me to finally deliver, because our time is running out and the truth must be told and given so that those with an ear to hear can come to Father in his full righteousness. We are not to walk in hate or anger by any of this, but just in confidence that his word will be fulfilled, and that because we love and fear him, we obey and align to his will and trust in him completely. So at this time, do not worry about the conflicts brewing. Don't worry about the different sides and the different agendas. Just know that the labor pains are increasing tremendously, and you must be ready. Stay out of the conflicts of this world and stay committed to our Father's coming kingdom, where we will reign with Messiah, being counted worthy of all of his promises he has for us. Stay focused and stay committed. And stay ready. Be blessed. Okay, thanks again for watching. If this has blessed you, please make sure to like it and share it. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Elohim willing, I upload every Friday. Don't forget to follow this ministry on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on this website. As always, I would like to give a special thank you to those who have donated to this ministry. Your contribution is a huge blessing to this ministry and truly helps me continue on with this assignment. Your support is a blessing, and I wouldn't be able to continue without you. Please continue to pray for me and this ministry. I thank you for your obedience to Yah's call on your heart. I'm humbled by your support, and I'm very thankful for you. Thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. I love you all.